Final Fantasy 15, Windows Edition. Is it worth your time? Get ready to be at the center of the ultimate fantasy adventure, now for Windows PC. Joined by your closest friends on the road trip of a lifetime through the breathtaking open world, witness stunning landscapes and encounter larger-than-life beasts on your journey to reclaim your homeland from an unimaginable foe.
So what is Final Fantasy 15? Well, this game is your weird cousin. You know the cousin that went through the emo phase? Whenever you're doing a family function, he sits in the corner of the room, doesn't talk to anyone. Yeah, this is him. You're kind of talking to your other family members going, he's just a bit weird, isn't he? When did he get so weird? But then when you do actually talk to him, you realize, hey, he's kind of a nice guy. He's just got some really weird outlooks on life. Well, that's this game. It just does some really weird things that I've never seen in other games before. Now, don't get me wrong, weird isn't always a bad thing, especially if the game is doing something that is out of the ordinary, but that still works and functions properly. Now, we're not going to get too much into the storyline, guys. I can't stand reviewers who give away the entire plot during their 20-minute video, so suffice it to say that you play a dude who's kicking around with a bunch of other dudes, killing a bunch of stuff, and you pretty much save the world. Okay? No spoilers. That's it. Speaking of the world, it is massive. Really, really big. I love it. I love a huge game world. It makes you feel like you're actually inside that world. But to get around in the world, of course, you need a mode of transportation. And that is what you see before you right now. This very lovely looking car that we are driving around in. But my goodness, will you come to hate the sight of this car. If you haven't been to a location before, you need to either walk there on foot, which will take you about 76 years, or you drive in the car. Now, the way the car works, guys, is not like, Just Cause or something like that, where you get into the car and fly around and drive off mountains and all that kind of fun stuff. No, guys. No, you're not going to do that. I swear, it's like the developer sat down and went, okay, we're going to make, freaking half this game is going to be driving. But they're not going to be able to control the car. That's right, guys, you don't control it. So you open up your map and you click on a location and you say auto drive there, and the car drives itself to the location. Later on, you can manually drive it, but by manual, I use that term flippantly, guys, because literally all you will do is hold down the W key and turn left or right if you come up to a fork in the road. That is it. That is it, guys. Look at this right now. I'm not, my hands are off the keyboard right here. I'm not touching anything. I mean, you can drive one-handed. I mean, at least if you have to put up with this auto-driving nonsense, at least the car would go fast, right? You'd think it'd be flying along. It's driving itself, for frick's sake. No. It goes freaking 10k an hour, doesn't it? And if another car happens to come past, it slows right down, nearly stops, doesn't it? Yeah, great. That's awesome. Thanks, devs. Now, thank goodness later on, after completing a quest line, you get to hire Chocobos, which are basically these giant chickens, and they make getting around off-road a lot more bearable, that's for sure. They're really fast, and they can sort of half fly, half glide, and they're a lot of fun. They actually level up as you ride them, and sometimes they'll even assist you in battle, and that's a lot of fun, when all four of you are riding around on these giant chickens riding into battle. Oh, we're gonna kill you with chickens, yes! That's a lot of fun. But even then, guys, I still had trouble getting around, because sometimes you might be trying to run through a forest and it's the freaking hardest thing you've ever done in your life, because the 6-foot bloody chicken that you're riding can't get past a bush. A stick is stopping you from riding past it, so that sometimes it was just infuriating trying to get around. Are you kidding me? Now, you might say, oh, well, Kronos, why didn't you just fast travel? There's a fast travel option. Yeah, well, first of all, you have to have visited the place to fast travel there, which is, I'm cool with that, that's fine. But second of all, when you do fast travel, the loading times are outrageous. Like, I mean crazy. So half the time, I just didn't even bother with fast travel. So that really broke the immersion for me. And the other thing that I found frustrating was that the game constantly takes the controls out of your hands. Whether that's because of an unnecessarily long animation, or because you're in a dungeon and for some reason you're only allowed to sneak and you're not allowed to run. It just really broke the immersion, and I found that really frustrating.
Together on my
Oh,
signal.
let me
Until
move!
Then, hold position.
Now, this brings us to the combat of the game, the staple of any good RPG. And guys, I hate to say this, but it's just not that good. Combat pretty much consists of one move called a warp strike, which is where you can pretty much hit any enemy anywhere on the battlefield from where you're standing. And that will consume a little bit of MP, but hey, never fear, once you're low on MP, you just warp to a warp point, which suddenly regains all of your magic points, and that just lets you go again. You can just warp attack over and over and over and over and over again until the battle's done. Or, if you're feeling really crazy, you can get one of your teammates to do one of their special attacks, which you'll have probably seen 16,000 times by the time you've finished the game. There's just no variety. There's no feeling like I was getting better or more powerful or unlocking better moves or skills. It was the same thing again and again and again and again. Anyways, guys, I think hardcore fans aren't going to like the combat because it's not turn-based, and action fans aren't going to like the combat because it's just really bad action combat. It's just not what I was expecting from a game that was in development for like 10 years. I won't go through all the different weapons, guys. There's an absolute ton that you can use based on whatever fighting style you like, whether you want to be fast or slow and really powerful. You can also kit out your followers with different sorts of accessories and weapons. Magic, though, was where combat really disappointed me, really fell through. Because unlike every other game on the face of the planet, you don't use MP or magic points to use magic in this game. No, that would just be silly, wouldn't it? No. In this game, you have to scour the face of the planet to find these nodes that you soak up the magic power from, like some sort of freaking human magic sponge, and then you have to craft spells to put into empty flasks on your belt. That's the way magic works in this. And so, of course, you've only got a certain number of spells that you can use during combat. But the melee combat is a lot of fun, and if you decide to, like me, basically not bother with the magic, you probably won't miss it. The party system was done so well, guys. So your friends that are following you around all the time, it just made you feel really quite invincible sometimes. And during battle where, you know, one of them might be downed and you help them up, and then they're yelling out words of encouragement for you, it's just like, we can do anything! And having your three friends following you around all the time actually made me feel like I had friends.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Of course, your followers aren't perfect, and sometimes they say some of the most painfully weird and stupid things.
See that you buy no more than we need. Sheesh, you my mother or something? Mum's the word. Ugh, I'm all sticky and gross.
Woohoo! About time!
I think that's just poor script writing, I don't know, but it really grated me sometimes. Also, in certain areas of the games, your followers will talk over each other, which I found extremely immersion breaking and frustrating. It didn't happen all the time, but it happened enough that I noticed it and that it did frustrate me.
Those seeking refuge from war, most likely.
Wars. Huh. What are they good for? Don't like the look of that ceiling.
Yeah, long overdue for some TLC.
Sure hope it holds up.
Like, seriously, it's 2018. It was 2016 when this game came out. Have we honestly not figured out how to make three different characters talk and reply to each other properly? It's crazy. It's crazy. And finally, the graphics, guys. The graphics were fan-frickin-tastic. I was blown away by how good they were. And I'm not running a high-spec machine compared to what some of you would have. I had everything set to medium, and it didn't miss a beat. I was really impressed. You know, when you really just stop and you take in the game world around you, it is absolutely beautiful. So, hats off to the devs. They did a fantastic job on the world. So anyways, guys, that's it from me. These are my opinions on Final Fantasy 15. I know it seemed like I complained a lot. It's been a roller coaster for me. There were parts of this game I loved, there were parts I hated, but all things considered, I do think it is worth your time. Do yourself a favor, download the demo off Steam, and just try before you buy. If you're still here, thanks so much for sticking around. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, and if you didn't, then don't. And as always, guys, stay frosty.